All right, let's go. Wiggy, wiggy, wiggy. Let's go. Everybody wake up. I know it's Sunday. I know it's Sunday. I already know what everybody wants to talk about. Let's go. Come on. So, we don't know anything official yet, all right? It's just a rumor. It's just rumor and innuendo. It's all it is at this point. If he's on LTIR and can come back for the playoffs, it can be a net gain for us. If he's out for the regular season and the postseason, I guess everybody's going to want to know what we got to do to give Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk, the little baby brother, comes and saves the day when the older brother can't play. That rhymes. Hey, Chris. He says last night wasn't good. Nope, no cup. Well, and I don't want to judge him too much on last night. I mean, it irritated the piss out of me too. Don't get me wrong. But that long of a break, I wish we would have rested a few of our guys. Like if they would have said Barkov, Reinhart, and Bennett, and we got that effort, I would have been like, all right. I mean, the effort was there anyway. Trey says, I'm not believing shit until a local guy says it. Habs beat Riders, nowhere near the Panthers or Team USA. Plus, the final was in Boston, not Montreal. You know, look, if he's out for the rest of the regular season, I mean, I'm cool with that. Like if it's something where he could maybe be ready a week before the end of the season, but so he's really healthy, and we already, LTIR and that whole deal we talked about. All right, let him get some rest. There's no problem with that. But I would suspect, and this is just my imagination, but based on what we know about Chucky, or what we've seen anyway, I would suspect that if they try to tell him he needs surgery, that what he's going to do is he's going to say, let me see if I can heal before the playoffs and see if I can play without the surgery and then maybe have the surgery after the playoffs. I have a hard time believing that they're going to tell that man you're shut down all the way through the rest of the season, including the playoffs. Vincent says, so Tkachuk is like a little child who doesn't quite know how or when to use his strength, and the stinking Leafs won their game. Trey says, we joke about Pomo's day-to-day turning into week-to-week all the time, but he wouldn't be saying day-to-day if Chucky was really going to miss the whole year in the playoffs. Well, he said something. I 99% of the time I would agree with you. But then he said something to the effect of, we're going to get some people are going to get their hands on them, and then we'll know more. That sounds to me like, testing. And so, I mean, if the dude can still skate, what do we got? 7 weeks? Playoffs start about April 15th or something. I mean, that's 6-7 weeks, right? March is almost 5 weeks, and we might be stretched out to 8. I don't know. I want to agree with you, Trey. That wasn't a good thing to wake up to. But it was just one dude, saying something. Right. He did play the first period. So it's like, you got to figure how it's weird. How bad can it be if he could skate, but how bad must it be to keep him out of the rest of the game? And with Chucky, you never know, because we've already seen he'll go out there with one leg, literally one arm. Hey, Nick, True says, sometimes the puck falls your way and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes referees make terrible calls that can swing a game. Yeah, I mean, the NHL trying to backtrack and say, now I've watched that replay. I thought it was Mahura's stick that got in the way of the cord. I thought it was Mahura's stick. Trey says that means he's at least healthy enough to practice with a non-contact jersey, right? Kate says, I saw the recap of last night. That was one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some really bad ones. The way that Luxmore explained it, honestly, made me feel like he was purposefully gaslighting Maurice. Like, to say that number 17 entered the crease on his own, it's like, bruh, if you want to call him for goalie interference for any other reason, we could have that argument. But we all watch Mahura push him into the crease. Like, that just frosts my freaking frosted flakes, man. That really irritates me when people describe something that we can all literally see with our eyes that that's not what just happened. I'm still pissy about it. I don't know. That rubs me the wrong way, man. I don't know what to say. Trey says, with the refs not knowing what the rule is, you're better off as a coach challenging every goal no matter what. It's a coin flip to see if they take away a goal. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But look, I mean, we got to put the puck in the back of the net, right? We got to put the puck in the back of the net, too. Vincent says, everyone seems to understand where the problem. Everyone seems to understand where is the problem, but how big the problem is, that's a question. Tkachuk can barely skate on healthy legs, but a groin for him personally might be a bigger problem than most players. It's a good point. It's a good point. What I hope is that he didn't go out there and make it worse. Hey, Rosado. True said, so Maurice said he doesn't know what's wrong with Matthew. He just said he's keep him day to day. He's that Canadian. Trey. Hey, Derek. Oh, boy. Well, I tell you. If he is out for the whole thing, Metal says Maurice made a point he wanted to get the offense going. Yeah, and Sam Miskevich finally scores and they take it away from him. Right? Kid finally put one in the back of the net. Nice shot, too. The way Decord saves that shot, regardless of if Rodriguez is in that crease. Sucked. Cost us a point. Boy, my hip is letting me know it this morning. Rosado, apparently they've taken some tests, or they're going to be doing some tests, and they're just, I would assume what they're trying to figure out is what grade the tear is, right? Now, the other part to that is there's Bill Zito as assistant general manager of Team USA. Now, would they have allowed Tkachuk to go out there and possibly make it worse to the point where it cost them even the playoffs? Because that's not good. That's not good, man. Trey says if it does end up being the worst case scenario and is really out until October, at least he would be fully healed from all his injuries. But I still don't think he's out till October. I hope you're right, man. That is the question, right, Craig? Who do they get to fill in for McNuggets? I already think I know what they would do. And I'm not suggesting that this is what we should do. I want to be clear. I don't think this is what we should do, but I have a feeling I know what they're going to do. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Rodriguez, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, Tarasenko, Boquist on the fourth line. I don't think they'll go get Ranton. I think they'll go get a cheap piece for the third line and put Rodriguez in Chucky's spot, and that way Boquist makes the fourth line a little bit better. We're going to need something anyway, because by body count, we need somebody. And being that we don't have a whole ton of assets, and they were already kind of talking about maybe being interested in Tarasenko. I mean, we know he fits, right? It's the curse of the pink chicken. Vincent, the only problem with Rantanen is like, how are we going to pay for him? And I don't mean the money next year. I mean, what can you imagine? Can you imagine under these circumstances calling Carolina and being like, so how would you like to ruin your cup chances by fixing ours? I'm not so sure Carolina even picks up that phone, right? We don't have the assets. You don't want to give, and that's the other thing is now if you're going to go replace, honestly, if I like Trey's idea, if Chucky is out, but he's going to be back for the playoffs, if they know he's back for the playoffs, I would not spend our resources and our money replacing Tkachuk for the regular season. I would spend it on the defense and upgrading the fourth line and just roll with what we got forward-wise into the playoffs and then just insert Tkachuk when he comes back. Because we don't have a lot of assets to give. So if we give up our best assets to replace Tkachuk, then Tkachuk comes back. Yeah, we got a better forward group, but we still haven't done anything to the defense. Yeah, Trey says his legs are fresh. Give sort of. I wouldn't be against that. Sure. Metal said that. Carolina has ruined their cup chances by being Carolina. Where was Kyle last night? I don't know, man. I don't know. We talked about it after the game. I think he was just tired. Sometimes that happens, Every so often, the autism creeps up on him and gets him. Don't happen all that often. I think last night was one of those nights. Vincent says, obviously, Rantanen is a rental for most teams. It's not a deal to sign a player, so the price would be for a rental. Well, yeah, but I mean, we paid Tippett in a first for renting Giroux. So what? Who's that? Like, even if that was for a rental, we're going to give up next year's first? There's no way they'd give him up just for next year's first, right? Aaron, they gave up Nicias already. They're stupid. Carolina's stupid. I'm sorry. I don't know what they were thinking. Rosai says, Bo and Brian. Yeah, exactly, Trey. He says, Verhaeghe needs to become that cracker again if Chucky is out. People need to step up. That's sure. Pente says, Seth Jones half salary taken would be great. I know. I see a lot of people not wanting Seth Jones. Fake news says, on X says, can't mortgage the future for one season. I agree. It's a tough spot we're in. Yeah, we definitely need a second man for Mikkola, right? No, there's no way they're moving Samuel. Hey, JC. Trey says I would be a no vote on Seth Jones as well. He's mostly offensive. I mean, as long as he's not going to be making too many mistakes, right? But now, who knows what they're going to do? Take a look at Bo and Brian. I think we did before, but hold on. I'll look again. You can't trade Ekblad. Certainly can't trade Ekblad if Chucky's hurt. I think Ekblad somehow got worse with his puck handling skills. Trey says maybe the Rantanen situation will make Carolina blow it up and we'll get Slavin. Yeah, I'm good with that. All right. Why is his name? Come on, here we go. He's so young, though, Rosado. I think this is what we figured out with him before. Byron is so young. He's got to be an RFA. Hold on. I think we did this before. I think he's got to be an RFA. Yeah, because he's on a 2-year. No, maybe he's not. Puckpedia. Let me see what Puckpedia says. Yeah, Ekblad Jones Schmidt is a nightmare. Forcing and slaving. No one ever scoring again. Right? Yeah, so he's going to be an RFA, Rosado. I think we did this. Bowen Byram is going to be an RFA. So he's already making 3.85. Yeah, he's on Buffalo. Oh, he's talking about Rantanen. He's already making 3.85 and he's an RFA. So qualifying offer would be 4.6. Is he a right-handed? I mean, you're trying to replace Ekblad? Is he a righty? He's a lefty. We can't overpay for a young lefty defenseman. We need a right shot to replace Ekblad. We'd end up paying him $6 million a year practically. Pente likes Nurse better than Ekblad. Look, let's put it this way. How much does it matter if Chucky's out for the season? Let's look at it this way. Let me ask you this. Put it this way. Hold on. If Chucky is out for the whole year, whole playoffs, do you think fixing the defense means that we can still win the cup without Tkachuk? You see what I'm saying? If Tkachuk is out for the rest of the year, not even coming back for the playoffs, does getting whoever we would want on defense, is that really going to make us confident about winning another cup? If we don't, well, Craig, that's what I mean, Craig. If we just put Rodriguez in that spot, if we don't go out and get another forward, if we spend those assets on defense and he can't come back, a full playoff run without Tkachuk. I mean, I love Erod, but you already got Sam Miskevich on that second line. Craig says Marchand could do it. Oh. That's not a bad idea, Craig. That's not a bad idea. Because Boston was already iffy, right? Trey says maybe if Ottawa keeps booing the anthem, we'll get Brady. Fake says without Chucky, no deep run. Probably not. That's my biggest concern. Like, I think we win a round. I don't think losing Chucky means we get out. Trey says, wait, let's start going to Sen games and boo the anthem. That's the only way. Is if Brady says, I got to go rescue my brother's team. Drew says, we can win without Tkachuk, just need a guy in every line in front of the goalie. Bender says, problem with Sam Miskevich to me is when will he be better to make Florida a lot better? That's why I would be – you can't trade Sam Miskevich. No, that would be a disaster. We absolutely need that kid on the roster moving forward. He's going to be a beast on that line. You got to sign Bennett. And Bennett, Tkachuk, Sam Miskevich is going to be a beast of a line for quite some time. It's just unfortunate the way this is going down. Samoskevich brings so much energy to that team right now. Kay says, we probably won't be done right away without Chucky. Look at the Kings back in 06 after losing Eric Cole. Yeah. Is Marchand? I think Marchand is a free agent after this year, Rosado. I'll look. I mean, because there was rumors, so I would assume that that's what it meant. I would assume they wouldn't be yeah. He's playing on the last year of his deal right now. He's playing on the last year of his 8. Yeah. So you'd be getting him to be a rental. Yeah. Yeah, if I absolutely agree there. If Chuckers is actually out for the whole rest of the way, I would call Boston right up. And you know what they're going to say? Give us Samoskevich. That's what they're going to say. And no. You can have any of the other kids. You can't have Samoskevich. You can't take anybody out of that's playing. You can have a prospect and a pick. Vincent says, give me Larson, Marchand, Byram, and Rantanen. How are we going to pay for all of that? Byram's not going to be cheap because he's an RFA. So Buffalo already has all the control. No, can't have Lundell. No top 9 roster players. We can't. I mean, we need to replace them, right? What can we get for me? Free parking. I think that's about my peak. I think I'm worth free parking. Sure. You know? Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, my value might be going up. Pente, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I don't think Rantanen's the answer to any of our issues. Could he be a good player in certain circumstances? Sure. But I don't think he really, losing Tkachuk, getting Rantanen, that don't make any sense. Marchand, right? That's what I would do. True. Rosado says Achari is the answer. No, the thing with Rantanen, Tarasenko, Marchand, and then if you can afford it, Byram, but he's gonna come at a cost, because the only reason you're getting Byram is if Chucky's on LTIR, and then you know that you're going to be letting. The only reason to get Byram is if you know Chucky's going to be on LTIR, because Buffalo's not going to eat half the salary. Why would they do that? He's an RFA. Then, you're going to move Ekblad, but Byram is a left-handed shot, so you still got to replace Ekblad, but you've got half your second pair with Byram, maybe Mikkola Byram, so you only need to replace Ekblad next year. But now you're paying Byram like $5 million because he's an RFA. I don't know. Trey says Mackey for Sid. Rickard Raquel from the Pens. Yeah, maybe we can make a group deal with the Penguins. Just get Raquel, Achari, and Carlson. Just make a group project deal, right? Frank says we need a stud defender. I would make a strong push for Noah Dobson. Just make Byram switch hands. Oh, Rosado. I brought up Tarasenko only because if they were going to just leave Rodriguez in Tkachuk's spot if he was out completely for the rest of the playoffs. Then you bring in Tarasenko to put him on the third line next to Lundell and Luosterainen, so you can move Bohlquist down to the fourth line so that you strengthen that fourth line. And because somebody had said we were interested in him at some point. It's not my first pick, but I was talking more about along the lines of what I thought they might do. Trey says we could get Murphy and Provorov with Chucky's money. That's true. It just depends on if Chucky's coming back or not. Bendit says, I like Raquel a lot. Getting him and Jones half retained to Florida is a serious cup contender. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Well, that's the thing, Vincent. You're saying look at them all as rentals. I don't necessarily disagree, but, we don't have any assets. Right? I mean, how much could Marchand cost us? What do you think they'd want for Marchand? I don't think Murphy would be too much, Rosado, but Chicago would have to eat some salary. Yeah, we all wish, Craig, bundle deal for Brady and Sanderson from Ottawa. Sure. No, I got no problem with that. Let's go. Right? I don't know what they'd want for that bulk deal. They're going to want Reinhart and Sam Miskevich. Frank says, can't keep wasting picks on rentals. We won the cup already. I'm okay with taking a step back and keeping our draft picks unless it's someone with term. Yeah, well, that's why we were talking about Bowen Byram, because he's an RFA. So we at least have a little bit of protection there if we trade it for him now. Gio, the Chucky update. There's no official update. There's nothing official. One of the reporters, Canadian reporters last night, alluded to that there's a concern that Tkachuk could be done for the season, but there's been no confirmation. There's been nothing from the team about that. It's been my experience that the team don't tell anybody anything, like not even like George and Jameson, like until they don't tell those guys any kind of rumor or innuendo or anything like that. Oh, the Ducks finally done with Zegras. Kulikov from Makar. Kulikov's too good. Well, it had to be us. He's not, it's not official. There's no official word there yet. Right? But if he needs surgery, how long does groin surgery really usually take to repair? That's like 2 or 3 months, right? Marchand's contract is only 6.1, Rosado. So if Chucky's on LTIR, we have the money for Marchand. We wouldn't need somebody else. Boston might take half his salary for us. They'd make us pay for that, though. Right, Trey. Nobody local has said anything, right? Oh, Pente, we know that. We know he's not coming back until the playoffs. The concern is that there's some concern whether or not he's even going to be able to come back for the playoffs or not. That's what the reporter was alluding to. Lewis says at this point, just get Huberdeau back. Kesserling. I think it's 9.5, Damien. Yeah, Pente, that's the thing. We know he's probably out for the playoff but he might be out for the whole playoffs, which that's a whole different planet for us, right? Trade for Uyghur. Hey, Simon, What are we going to do? We don't know now. We don't know what we're going to do until we know if Chucky's okay. Everything is on pause. Everything we thought we might do or the holes we might have, it's on pause. Damn it. We were looking good, too. I was really feeling good about our chances. But if he can come back for the playoffs, he's got to be healthy, though. He's got to be right. We don't want him to re-injure himself and then have to have surgery. Meadow says Hampus Lindholm likely to miss the rest of the season recovery from surgery for a fractured patella. Ow. True says, what about when that reporter asked Matthew if he was bothered by not blocking the pass to McDavid? I also said, sure, Kevin. Oh, asked if Matthews. Oh, okay. Right. Well, Matthews shouldn't have been there. He should have been right next to McDavid. Rosado, I think somebody up above just said that Hampus is hurt. I think he said Mitch Marner. Let's see. I'm going to go to Twitter real quick and see if Amanda, we're not sure yet. That's what we're let me see. Yeah, it's just a rumor right now. Right now, there's nothing. Right now, there's nothing official. So, yeah, there's nothing official there yet. The Hampus season is over, right? Yeah, Matthews shouldn't have left the best player on earth alone in the slot for starters. Lewis, that's what we've had. It's been Bennett with Mackey and Tkachuk. That we had something really good working there. What's the oh no, Vincent? Did you see did we see something official? I hope not. I'm on Twitter. I don't see anything. Simon, am I still interested? Am I still interested in getting his brother Brady? I mean, we can't afford him. He's not coming. When Brady is ready to force a trade, I think it'll happen. But I don't think that'll be at least for another 2 or 3 years. True says a good video to make would be to have a mock trading deadline day, have all the free agents up on the screens and go through it. That's all. That's until you're down to 1 or 2. That's a lot of work, unless they're already put together in one spot. Oh, Vincent says I'm officially stressing over Tkachuk, right? Trey says also the French dude that's saying Chucky's out is the same guy that said Chris Kreider has been traded and he's still on the Rangers. Rosado, nobody believes you. Nobody believes that, Rosado. Huh? Okay. All right. All right. Oh, boy. I got to get a new mod. This kid, let me tell you. Well, ain't nobody going to have sympathy for us. Do you think Boston would send us Marchand if Chucky's out to the playoffs or out for the year? Do you think Boston would pick up the phone? Lex says, everyone says pick up defense. We also need a forward who can score. Only one goal against Seattle is unacceptable. I don't disagree. But Montour and OEL started a lot of offense for us last year. If you picked up the right kind of, you know what I mean? I believe if we had Montour on this team or Montour and OEL, obviously we wouldn't be having this discussion about the offense or the defense, because having those puck moving defensemen makes a big difference in transition versus the guy that we have trying to be the most offensive right now is Ekblad, and he can't handle the puck. He just can't handle the puck. Rosado and Damien says, no, Boston doesn't pick up the phone. Yeah. You talking about Luke Shen? Simon? I mean, at this point, what's his, let me see. What's his, is he Frederick from Boston? Let's see here. No, let me type this in. Oh, come on, there it was. Come on, there it was. Oh, jeez, he's so old. Oh, I'm going to assume that he's on the last year of his deal, because that's the thing. Some of these guys, no thanks. Oh, no, I read that wrong. So he's got a 2.75 cap hit, and he's got term. That's the problem. Shen's got term. So not only you're buying them for this year, but you're paying for them next year. I don't know. He's making 2.75. You got Kulikov making 1. I think Savard is hurt. Rosado, I think Savard is hurt. I believe. Let me see if I'm wrong here or not. No, he must not be hurt because he played the other day, so I'm wrong there. Is he a righty? I mean, I know he'd just be a rental anyway. Parayko would be nice. Yeah. Brandon Carlo, I as far as I know, I think Boston would be happy to. Yeah, he's 6 year, so he's making about $4 million a year, and he's got term as well. Carlo has term as well, so we'd be getting him for this year and next year. Kesserling, let's see what his deal is. I think we looked him up a while ago, like months ago. Let me see here. Come on, just tell me the contract. Tell me the contract. They don't give me the numbers. There's an article about the contract, 2-year contract. They don't give me the numbers. But I think he's got term as well. Yeah, he's got term as well. 2.8. So his puck, his His cap hit is 1.4, but he's got term as well. Well, Luke's got term also, right? Well, what's Parayko? Jeez. Colton Parayko. Forget about it. He's got a cap hit of 6.5, and his contract expires in 29-30. No, that when he'll be 37. Jeez. Hey, thank you, Jake. Thank you, bud. Everything's not so bad. It's warmed up to a nice balmy 43 degrees. Brent Burns. He hasn't won a cup. Could he possibly be slower than Ekblad? Let's see. He's so big. That's what she said. No, not Brian Burns. I said Brent. Come on. Stupid Google. There we go. Woo! Well, okay, so Burns is on an expiring contract. Burns is on an expiring contract with a cap hit of $8 million. And he's in Carolina. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be a lot of help. Pente says he's bad. Yeah, liability. Yeah, he's too old. Not sure if he's worse than Ekblad, but pretty much the same level. Communist says, do you think the other teams are jacking up the prices since those Panthers have made 2 finals in a row and they know we might be willing to pay? Yeah, that's a big yes. That's a big yes. Fake news says it's like finding the tallest midget in the room between Burns and X. Well, I wouldn't want to get hit by Burns. How big is that dude? I mean, Ekblad's not a small guy, right? He's not a small guy. But I do believe he's bigger than Ekblad. Ekblad doesn't look as big as he is. Ekblad's like 6'4". Burns is 6'5", 229. God dang. That's a monster, man. Kate, I like that. You stick with the Gudis idea. Meadow says Slavin and Ranty for Bennett, Uvis in the first. I'm an idiot. Please don't do that. Nah, not Bennett. Eric Johnson's at 1 million. Meadow says Ekblad isn't small, but you can get out of his way since he'll reach you in 2 to 3 business days. Let's look at Eric Johnson. Oh my God, what are we going to do if Chucky is actually out? What I'd like to do is make one deal with one team and get like a bunch of players from one team, and so we can just like be nice and easy. Yeah, so Johnson's just on a 1-year deal. I mean, I guess that would kind of be like getting Kulikov again or something. Hey, thank you, Frank. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, bud. He says, no one that's over the age of 30. We're not looking as good as last year. I would commit on young talent that have upside. Well, you would like that Bowen Byram kid that Rosado was talking about. Lil J says, if he's out for the playoffs, I'm sorry, but screw 4 Nations. Yeah, I know. I really hate to say it, man. But he also got hurt during the fight, Lil J. He got hurt falling on that fight. That's when he got hurt. So, and he probably made it worse going out there and playing in that first period. Fake news says rumors are Bennett wants Reinhardt money. Not happening. Oh man. I said this before, I'll say it again. in terms of Bennett. If he wants $8 million, I'll give it to him, but only 4 years. That's what I'll do. Yes, it's an overpay. It's an admitted overpay. But if he wants 8 times 4, I give it to him because that keeps our cup window a lot more secure. You're going to lose Sam Bennett over $2 million. Lundell ain't replacing Sam Bennett, and I'm the biggest Lundell fan there is. But he's not replacing Sam Bennett. So now you got a hole there. And Bennett with Tkachuk and Samoskevich just works so beautifully. And the fact that you're going to be able to pay Samoskevich peanuts because he's still just a kid in the RFA, I would give the money that you're saving by not overpaying Samoskevich to Bennett. And just look at the price of the line itself. And I would 4 years though, because too much term after that. Yeah, Little J says I'd overpay Bennett for 4 years. Yeah, that's what I would be willing to do because that keeps the cup window, that keeps us solid, right? But you start talking about 6-7 years at $8 million, then no. I see Bennett's point, right? Because Bennett's kind of like the plug in the boat, right? You could have a yacht, but if you pull the plug, you still got a problem. Right? And Bennett is kind of the plug in the boat a little bit. There's certain guys we could live without and certain guys we can't. Metal says Chucky being out for the rest of the year and not putting him LTIR is something stupid Chris Greer would be. Yeah, that's a Chris Greer move for sure. Damien says, Jaws, I bet we called Carolina for Stechnikov for a Chucky replacement. Man, I just don't know that any of these teams are going to help us. I was thinking about that this morning when I saw the news. I'm like, we better start looking at the Western Conference teams. Because I don't know Boston going to help us. I mean, they might send us Marchand. Right? They might send us Marchand. But I don't see Carolina helping us at all. Fake News says 7 million times 5 is more than fair. Yeah, I would do that. Noah Dobson. Fake News says Bennett needs to be in the swaggy price range. I get it. No disagreement. But we're not sure yet, Jacob. Let me look up Noah Dobson. Jacob, we're not sure. There's been nothing official. Somebody, a Canadian broadcaster, kind of said something last night that's got everybody worried about it. Geez, this guy Noah Dobson is 6'4", big guy. Is he a righty or a lefty? It doesn't say here. Let's see. What's his contract? Still not seeing if he's a righty or a lefty. Position D, he's a righty. 6'4", 194 pounds. Cap hit of $4 million. Oh, he was number 12 overall by the Islanders. Why would they get rid of him? I don't think they would want to get rid of him, right? Yeah, but what would the Islanders want from him, right? Is he in? Let me see if he's a is he a RFA or let's see. Yeah, he's still going to be an RFA. Dobson is still going to be an RFA. His cap hit's already $4 million. I mean, that could be your Ekblad replacement, but you're going to pay. Right? You're going to pay for him, no doubt. But that could be a guy, 25, 6'4", $194. There have been talks, Pente. Yeah, I mean, if what are we going to have to give up? But that's your Ekblad replacement right there. And if he's making 4 now, What are you going to give him? 6, 5.5, 6? Got to give him a raise, right? Are you gonna just lock him up long term? How good is he? You want to go 8x8? What do you want to do? And what are we giving up? Right? I mean, would Damien says, yeah, and no offense. Oh, but Balinskis, Pente says you got to pay him at least 6.5. Yeah. I don't know if Balinskis is going to be enough to get it done, Rosado. That's I don't know what we don't know what the other teams, how they view our other prospects, Sachin, St. Martin, Sordiff. We don't know what kind of value. What if they come knocking on Cooper Black's door? Would you guys, Cooper Black? Do the Islanders have a young goaltender? Would they want Cooper Black and something else for Dobson? So Simon, I think I'm not sure, to be honest with you, buddy. I think a lot of it's going to depend on the news they get about Tkachuk. Because if they find out he's completely out for the whole rest of the year, one of two things is going to happen. Either the team's going to really lift their level of play real quick, or they're going to get depressed and we might go into a little bit of a slump. Rasmus Ristolainen. Let me see. I'm getting hungry. I got to get ready to Oh, okay. I got to get ready to eat my food here. Rasmus. Come on. There he is. He's finished. He's 30. Let's see. Let me see what his contract is. He's got a cap hit of 5.1, and he's got term. So he's got term till 26, 27. So it's this year and 2 more years with a cap hit of 5.1. Is he a righty? They have him projected as a second pair. Is he a righty? I'm looking. He shoots right. He's already making 5.1, so the only deal with him is that we're not really going to save a lot of money, but he'd probably be an upgrade over Ekblad in some ways. Pente, yeah, it's too much, Pente. Jacob says no room for slump or error. We could easily miss the playoffs. We're going to have to be careful. I'm just refreshing. I'm refreshing Twitter again. But I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. It's just this one guy. It's just this one guy that has said it. I wonder how long the team is going to. Wonder how long it's going to be till we know something, right? Silva. Well, we're not sure. We're not sure. Nobody, the team hasn't come out and said anything. My assumption would be that unless the doctors tell him 100% you have to have surgery, there's nothing else that you could do, I would assume, knowing Chucky the way we do, that he would try to rest and rehab before the playoffs and go out there and see what he could put together. How much there is in free cap? We don't have a lot of free cap. I think we've got like $3.5 million or something like that. I think it's like 3, whatever. But if Chucky goes on LTIR, obviously we have a lot more, right? Greg, I like that idea, especially if Chucky's out. Yeah, that's the thing, Pente, is like, how would I use it? The problem with having all that money, while it's great to have all that money, I don't know that we have the assets to go acquire. The only thing that money would really do for us, it would save us assets in the trade, because we're not going to have to overpay other teams to hold half the salary, right? So instead of having to add in an extra third round or whatever it is, instead of having to add that in because we desperately need somebody to hold half the salary, if we're using Chucky's money, we might be able to make some deals where we take on the salary so we don't have to give up extra assets. Metal. They'll just says the only players that can replace Chucky are McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews, and other top players. Yeah. Manny says, I asked Brady Tkachuk about Matthews' injury. Doesn't sound good for the Florida Panthers. Obviously, he battles through absolutely everything. And yeah, I don't think it's good. I guess we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. But I know he was really disappointed. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that, what gives me more hope than anything is the fact that he even went out there and tried. Now, I would assume, we don't know. My assumption would be that when he initially got hurt, that they did some imaging and that they wouldn't have let him go out there to try to play the championship game if the groin was torn to that extent. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know. But if it was torn to that extent, I really have a hard time believing that they would let him go out there and risk an injury to the point of being out for the rest of the regular season. Well, that's the thing, Rosado, is if he tore it even more, being on the ice in the championship game, who is exactly responsible for making that decision? Because Bill Zito was our assistant general manager, and he was there before the game taking pictures with Chucky. So if anybody would be aware what the situation would be, that would be Zito. And being the personality these guys have, it would really suck if Zito was like, Chucky, you're going to do whatever you want, you know what I mean, and not protect the Panthers. Fake news says the important issue is Chucky's health long term. This is not an old veteran team. The team is built for the long term. Can't panic for one season. No doubt. No doubt. But that's kind of what I'm saying, is that putting him out there when he was already injured like that for the championship game. But then again, they let him play game 4. But that's Stanley Cup Finals. But he went out there with a broken sternum. So I think they've already made the decision that in these moments, they are going to put the hockey ahead of his long-term prospects, because they let him play with a whole ass broken sternum. So we shall see. And Craig says Chucky could have fit because of his desire to play. Yeah, but they would have had imaging, right? They would have been able to tell what grade the tear was, you know? All right, thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. So, hey, I'm going to run. I got to go eat some food. Kyle and I will be live at 3:30 for Rangers Penguins. Maybe we'll know something. Maybe we'll know something by then about Chucky. I hope so. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all the support. Everybody, it's going to be fine. All right? If Chucky's out, I'm a little slow. I'm not as big. I'll suit up. All right. I need a stick. I'll use Rorell's stick. All right. I got a jersey. We're good. We're good. I need skates, though. I can't afford skates. Somebody's got to buy me skates. All right. We'll see you. We'll be back at 3:30. We'll be live 3:30 for Rangers Penguins. See you then.